myself. Okay, sorry, I can't see myself. Let's see if we can just get that back. Good morning. How are you? Okay. So, good morning, everybody. I hope that you are well. And for anybody that doesn't normally get to see us in Tarot School, you can go back and look at the previous notes, which are available for you to download at any time. And you can also rewatch the videos. They are up on Facebook and YouTube. And if you want to join Tarot Talk with me, you can look at those at any time also. So, right, let's get started. So last week we finished off with the moon, and we've been moving through the major cards. Incidentally, the PDF files that you can download are exactly the same as the slides that I'm using here to do tarot tuition. So welcome newcomers, and thank you for joining me. And we are moving through the major cards. We started the first week, the Fool. So half an hour of tarot, as in to go through the cards with you each week. And so we're moving on to the Sun. So the Sun also works in conjunction a little bit, even though it's a planet, of course, works in conjunction with Leo. So if ever you're looking out in your reading and you are reading for a Leo, or you're being asked about a Leo, the Sun card is always a great card to actually find out some information. As I have spoken about, I will be doing lots of tarot pairs and showing you how to put cards together in the future. But for now, we're just talking of each basic meaning so that you get a feel for the individual cards and you can use them to help yourself get some keywords and some notes. So the Sun, Enlightenment. Wow. You know, when you get this card, everything's very, very much coming to you. Getting that information, you're being shown, you've got direction, and you've got that greatness and that vitality. It's a card of assurance, of understanding, of realizing what the truth is, and some great moments of personal glory. It gives you a lot of vitality when this card comes up in a reading, and it's very joyful. If you look, you see a child there riding naked on a horse, and that's the absolute confidence that one has in oneself to go naked and not be bothered at all, because you're being totally transparent. You are showing who you are, what's going on with you, and you are doing so with confidence, not with ego, but simply with joy. And it's the invigoration, it's the passion. The Sun card is much more about one's personal happiness and ambitions, unlike some of the other cards. We'll be coming to one that's very similar to the Sun card, the World. But the Sun is more to do with one's personal enlightenment and happiness. You know, this is what I want to do with my life. You know, I want to live abroad. I want to actually have a certain type of career. I want to be a parent. I want to have a family. I want these things for me. So that's what I mean about the personal sort of side of things. When we go into other cards, it can be more to do with generic or the actual ambitions that one has in life in order to achieve the study, the development of oneself. The Sun isn't like that. The Sun is about me. What makes me happy? Why am I happy with my life? So there's the beautiful Sun in conjunction with the planet, of course, that it is. This is the Sun. It's a planet. So if we look at the next card, moving forwards here, we've got Judgment. Okay, look at that, the crossroads of life. Okay, so the crossroads of life and the angel blowing the trumpet saying, wakey, wakey, come out of those graves. Look at what's going on in your life. You've got to start thinking ahead. So this is a card of long-term future. So if anyone asks you what's going to happen, you know, in a year's time or a decade's time, It depends on the spread, of course, but this is where I would go, because this is talking about the decades, and then you would look at the cards that's next to this. So remember I told you I work in pairs, so whatever that other pair is, so what the minor card is telling you, perhaps it's the Four of Wands, which would be the Judgment, Four of Wands together, and you've got a pair saying, look ahead at consolidating and making things happen. So we're consolidating in action your future. Okay, so the Judgment card, Absolution. Okay, it's really a wonderful card, and this is saying to you, wakey, wakey, it's time to actually rise and shine and get on with your life. And that crossroads that you see in that flag there, it's very much a crossroads of life. It's offering choice. You're not being pushed, you're not being forced, you can go this way, you can go that way. All roads are open to you. So it's kind of hearing your calling, making a fresh start in life, reevaluating based upon what's happened. Judgment also works in conjunction with Pluto. And Pluto is the kind of things that happen very rarely in the time that we are on Earth. The last time was in the 60s, and if you think of what was happening then, there were some major shifts and changes going on around that period of time. So if you can link with that and think, well, what did that mean? Well, things changed. We've got the National Health Service going, we've got sort of, women that were able to have children and not be married, birth control, flower power, saying no, protests, people were liberated. So it's those kind of things where Pluto makes a revolutionary shift, and we don't go backwards. We don't go back to how it was. We go forwards. We're moving forwards in decades, in times, in moving out of one period of time into another. And kind of, like now we're in this amazing age where we've got computers and technology and the internet, and we didn't have that then. But that gives you some idea of Pluto being quite massive. It's not just a little thing, it's a big thing, and it has an impact going forwards on the decades, not just now. It's a day of reckoning. It is appraisal making. There's an honesty to this card, making fresh starts, feeling reborn, making some difficult, hard choices, and appraisal allowing you to actually say, well, what am I doing and where am I going? And, a strategy, plans, and absolution. So making fresh starts, maybe listening to your call inwardly or spiritually, or even the fact that you are in strategy to want to plan your life furthermore. And as I said, it's about where do I want to be in years to come. And I would always look at this as furthermore, a decade or two or three, depending on what other cards are around it. Okay, so Judgment is really a lovely card because it's giving you a lot of choices. Think this is going to affect you in your long-term future, and don't hang around. You'll be in that grave soon enough. We all will. So that angel is drawing attention and saying, come on, you're a long time dead. You really do need to make things happen. So what do you want to do? I'm reminding you. And so that's what we're talking about when we see Judgment. Okay, so the next card that we've got going on, good morning everybody. If anybody wants to say hi, you're more than welcome to do so. So what have we got going on here? Our next card for today, okay, just bear with me, my internet's just a little bit slow there, so let's just make sure that that's worked. Yes, okay, the World. So this is the card that I was talking about in comparison to actually seeing the Sun card. Now the Sun card is your more to do with your personal development, and the World card is more to do with what you accomplish in life. So, accomplishing things, my career, the things that I've fulfilled myself. I've gone off and I've got a house and I've got a career and I've learned a language and knowledge has took me into places that have helped me make my way forwards in my life. So it's a feeling of fulfillment. If anybody wants to say hi, it'd be lovely for you to join me. I'd love your comments. So just wondering if anybody is here. What are we getting? I've got people watching. I can see that kind of going on and off. Whoops, a daisy. Bear with me, folks. Here we go. That should have actually stayed put. Right. Just bring that in a little bit more. Never happens on my tester, does it? Never. Okay, so yeah, let's lock that so that doesn't happen. Okay, sorry about that. So it's going through the four corners that you can see in the cards. You've got those four corners. You've got the lion, you've got the bull, you've got the bird, you've got the human. And it's actually saying that, you know, the elements, the corners, air, earth, water, fire, those kind of things, you know, our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, the products of our labour, the things that we make happen. And it's the fulfillment of negotiating your way through life, you know, experiencing a wholeness, connecting with your world, creating, you know, a synthesis, working in unison with things, achieving your heart's desire. You know, I really do want to be able to be qualified in X, Y, and Z. You know, your ambitions of where it's going to get you and how you're going to form your place and what you'll be remembered by your actions and the things you've done. But more in a way of ambitions, if you like, to be recognised and finding beauty in all of your solutions, using your gift or your talents, savouring the present and finding absolute contentment. So it's also very much about expansion, and it works with the planet Saturn. Okay, so you've certainly got a lot of things going on here that actually do feel very much as if it's all to do with things expanding, and it's all to do with feeling that you are integrating everything in your world in order to make things happen so that you feel that you have accomplished things in life. Okay, I don't seem to have any comments coming in this morning. Just to say, everybody, I am streaming through multiple platforms today, so if it is different or odd or this doesn't come out, I'm hoping it's going to record and I can put it on later. If not, I'm terribly sorry. We had to have a stab in the dark at whether or not this would work. Wanted to be able to try and reach different platforms to different people. So do remember, you can go back. I will put the recording up on YouTube. I will put the recording up on Facebook, and you can get your PDF files download. Incidentally, I normally put them up on a Monday. I'll be doing it tomorrow. So you can get your notes for this lesson tomorrow at some point. Sorry about that. It's just not possible today due to certain things that are beyond my control. So thank you so much for that. I'm going to move now into our next big group, which is the swords. Okay, so we're going into the minor cards. We've gone through the major cards. So just as I said, key points is the way forwards to make this happen. Just remembering certain things. Study your card, look at it. I don't want to go too deep into each card because it's not going to help you to be overloaded. You know, when you've got time, pick up a bit more. But I would actually say, just get started. You know, if you're trying to learn everything about a card, you're going to feel like you're putting it off forever. So that's what I would say to you. Anybody saying hi to me? No comments? No, not having that happen this morning. Okay, not to worry. Let's move on to the swords. Okay, so the swords is the air family, the thoughts. It's all to do with how the mind is operating. I'm hoping you can hear me. I will put a microphone in next time. There's one up there, but it's not connected to what I'm talking to you on today, but we'll get that sorted for you. So little by little, I'm trying to make sure that you get everything very, very clearly from me so that it helps you just move through your lesson to learn tarot. So the sword family, again, let's start with the Ace of Swords. So, Ace of Swords, new beginnings. Okay, what kind of new beginnings? It's where you've got the will force, I've had an idea and this is what I'm thinking, and yes, I'm thinking about it. Now, it's got two sides. Your idea has always got two sides, like the two-edge of the sword. So there's the positive, the negative. I really want to do this, but I'm going to have a problem with that, and I can't do that right now because. So it's that kind of thing. But always remember that with swords, it is the thought. It doesn't mean somebody's doing it. They are having a think, okay? And while we go through the swords, folks, it can be quite, because it's energy is intellect and the mental side, it can be that it can feel quite draining because it's quite heavy energy sometimes to actually load all this thinking. So if you sometimes feel a bit down and looking at your cards, just pull out another couple of minor cards of the other suits. It'll help balance it, okay? But for the purpose of our lesson, we're going through things one by one and we're sticking in order with the swords. So it makes sense in chronological order. So again, I've even arranged them in your tuition to say everything starts with a thought. So, oh, I think I want a cup of tea. You're not going to get a cup of tea. You have got to then be driven by emotion that you really do want that cup of tea. And then you've got to say, well, because I really want it, I am actually going to get up and make it. So that's the action, which is your wands. And then you end up with a product, which is your pentacle family. So if you think of tarot in that way, when you are looking at things, it's important to know where it actually is at that point. Oh, this is what this person's going to do. If it's a sword, still an idea, still a thought, doesn't mean they're going to. Okay, so there's a victory and a cutting away with the Ace of Swords. New idea, of course, and a new way of thinking. And always remember that all of your aces are gifts. Okay, so moving forwards. Okay, the Two of Swords. So here we have somebody sitting there blindfolded and crossing their chest with two swords in their hand. Choosing not to see, blinkered. That's the symbology of the blindfold. Not seeing, perhaps not deliberately, maybe subconsciously, it would depend where it came up in the spread. So, there are certain parts of the spread that I will be teaching you that will tell you whether this is in the subconscious or whether this is a conscious reality or whether this is you or maybe your client that you're reading for, or whether it's the influences of others that's having a reading. So all that's to come in the future, and that will be in advanced, okay? So Two of Swords, a partnership, it does represent a partnership, two things, a pair. So two ideas, perhaps, It can feel like a negative card because it's like, oh gosh, I don't know what to do. I don't want to. No, indecision. Oh, I don't know, I don't know what to do. It keeps going back to that over and over and over. Living on the edge by not making a decision, But if you look, all she's got to do is put those swords down, take the blindfold off, no problem, we'll see. So when you choose not to see something, you can actually put yourself into a complete place of feeling quite overwhelmed and negative and unable to think or see that there's a solution. So this is in one's thoughts. So sometimes somebody's head just hasn't, they're processing, but they're stumbling, and they may be deliberately choosing to look at things on the negative side, or unable, or, there's a right time and a wrong time for everything, isn't there? Sometimes all of us just need longer in order to be able to go where we're going. This is also a card of needing to call a truce. So, when people say, we're going to sort this out, have a look for Two of Swords. What's going on with we're reading, it's the Two of Swords there. This person's thinking about it. Doesn't mean they're going to, you know. You'd need to see other things happening, you know, like a victory with the wands, or something that's telling you, card of reconciliation, Six of Cups, that kind of thing. So there's a need to call a truce. And who with? That would be coming up in where it is in your spread. Who, what, where, when, why, how. And that's what I'll be teaching you. How to put it all together, knitting it all together. That's the beauty of how this is going to work. The trouble is that it's really important, and I mentioned to you, that once we've gone through the lesson of me showing you what things mean, with the basic sort of meanings, with the slides that I'm using, how about, you know, we want to kind of work as a group, and working as a group, we are in the situation of, I'm being told that you're saying hello. May I just mention, I have no comments. I think it's to do with the new software that I'm using. So once I come out of today's lesson, please forgive me for not being able to say hello. I've just been told that that's what you're doing. I'm sorry. I don't want to be distracted by having too many things on screen while I'm teaching what I am. So hello, and thank you so much for joining us. And you know, it's just a shame that I am not able to connect your comments just for today, but I will fix it. Okay. Technology, I knew it was going to be a glitch, so as it always is. I'll be going live perhaps a little bit later on this week. I may even jump on today, I don't know yet. But if I do, it's your chance to have a mini reading for free. And that's if you subscribe. If you're already subscribed, I do ask for a little donation of a cup of coffee to have a mini reading with me. And you know, you can enjoy seeing how you're going to be able to develop. And coming back to the point where I was saying to you that in intermediate level, it's really important to interact, because you need to work with a tarot buddy. And that doesn't mean you've got to be with the same person every week. It might help, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that we need a group to be able to kind of go, what do you think? What do you see? What do you feel? What do you want to ask? Why are you stuck? You know, I find that so useful. And I know certainly in my experience, when I was in my tarot class, we were all 10 of us with our teacher, and we were able, just like at school, to put our hand up or ask questions. But more importantly, we were able to read for each other, and we were able to kind of have our teacher stand over us and go, you're missing something. Look, it's there. Can you see it? And we'd kind of nod or say no, and she'd tell us. So we had the opportunity, like we always have in life, to actually go forwards and explore how to read for each other, you know, with your buddy. And it didn't matter, we probably changed who we were working with pretty much all the time, a long time ago now. But it's important that you can actually go, well, you said that, I don't see that, or I do see that, or crikey, I never thought of that, or I'm stuck, can somebody help? Or I've had a go at that and I'm absolutely amazed at the accuracy and the feedback from all of you. I cracked it. It was great. I've got it. I'm on my way. Well, hey. And also, I'd really like for you to join me. Maybe in some way we can Zoom. I was thinking of doing that, where we could all do it together in that way, because I don't need to have this PDF. So, and we could even have some guinea pigs that want a free reading, where you would give them a reading, and I'm there, I can help you. I won't do it for you, I'll let you do it, but I'll help you guide along and see what's happening. If we don't have somebody that's willing to do that from time to time, we'll pick somebody who's in the public eye that we all kind of know, somebody that everybody knows, so that we can actually do a reading for them using our knowledge of learning how to use the cards. And that's the way to do it, okay? So I do want to say we're getting through the cards now, and You know, I really do want interaction wherever it's possible. I'm sorry today, this is probably the worst time to actually say this, because I can't say hi to you. And if it doesn't work, I will switch back. But we're just experimenting to see if we can kind of go across all the platforms. All right, so I'm sure your comments will start working. I'm confident we'll get those back. So please, if you can, let me know if you want to go into the further groups to be able to work together, you know, to actually have a set time. And it doesn't have to be, sorry, I've been bitten, mozzies, very hot here. We do want to have perhaps a change of time. You know, I've asked people when they want me to do this, and I thought because it was recorded, you could watch it at your own convenience. But working interactively, if an evening's better for you, but tell me where you are in the world, because evening for you guys, you know, on one side of the world compared to the other, it's two different things. So if I know where the majority is, and I can even do a couple of different sort of times, so it's all doable. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Crikey, I'm going to be bouncing into a card that is ooh, look at that. Okay, heartbreak, Three of Swords. It is always, three is the number of creation in anything. Okay, so there's always something that is due. Sorry about my computer sending me an alert telling me what I've done this week. It's always to do with swords being the thoughts. Don't ever forget, it's the thoughts. So there is nothing physical in this. Okay, this is all to do with how it's affecting their thinking. But the other thing is, three is always a number of creation, all right? So something has been created here, all right? But this is also a card of the past. This is not a prediction of what is coming. So when you see this, it's not, oh, I'm going to be heartbroken. It's already happened, okay? That's what I want you to know, because it's in the thoughts and it's something they're thinking about. Do you see? So this is not a prediction of a future event. This is where this person was, or this is what it's based upon, or this is what's going on in their thoughts right now, could be affecting their emotions and their actions because of their thinking. You know, how you think and feel and view reality is kind of the product you get. So do you see, don't ever think this is, oh, this is what's going to happen, because Three of Swords is a card of the past. So I'd like you to make a note of that. Card of the past. Yeah, it's to do with loss and heartbreak, but not always relationships. I lost my job. I'm heartbroken. I lost the opportunity, you know. I came second or third, you know, in a competition or project. You know, I didn't get the job. I didn't get the audition. You know, they gave it to somebody else. You know, and it's already happened. That's what I want to say to you. Okay, it's already happened. So also, I've put the fact that it's a situation that's coming to a conclusion. So, what do we mean by that? Excuse me, I'm going to have a sip of water. Well, you can get rid of this. Your heartbreak is based upon your thinking, okay? And all of us at some point just kind of go, do you know something? That's enough. I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to think about it anymore. Or you just process. You know, you're done with it. You've come to that conclusion. You're in that place of going, it is what it is. Off I go. Yeah, I'm heartbroken, but what can I do? You know, new day, new start, new situation. So, Three of Swords, not always about relationships. People jump to that conclusion. Oh, you've had your heart broken in the past. Probably done it, you know, in every area. You know, I'm heartbroken that I can't get your comments today. That kind of thing. It's like, oh, you know, but I'll get over it. I'll bounce back, you know. It's only my thinking. So, as an example, how would you know? Again, this will be intermediate and this will be in the advanced, because it will be working with a pair. So it's the major card that's next to this. So if this was something that was coming up in one's life, and perhaps the Sun card was with her, it would probably show that in the past, the Sun card is kind of like a family, our personal ambitions. So if you had the Sun card and, say, the Three of Swords together as a pair, there could be heartbreak, in one's personal ambitions, such as family, friendships, things that somebody personally, really, really, it's very personal to me, that's me. It's not my ambitions in the world, it's me, it's who I am. And that hurt, and there's a history here. It's not what's coming, it's actually what's happened, because it's a card of the past. Even if it's in a future position, it means that that person may get stuck because their thoughts drift back to a time when they were heartbroken, or there is something here that has affected them. I would also say with this card, it's a card of repetition, and what I mean by that is exactly what I've just said. It's not just been one thing that's caused them to be heartbroken. Can you see the Three Swords? Something has been created by this happening again and again. So if it was a relationship and you saw, that this was to do with the influences of somebody else in the relationship part of the reading, House 7, you would find that there's been a whole history, and it wasn't just one thing, and you say, gosh, there's a chain of events that led up to this, overload of whatever, at least 3 times. Remember that, because you've got the Three of Swords. Okay? So it's not just, it's almost like, right, 3 strikes and you're out sort of thing. Whatever it is that helps you remember. It's not, they've just done this and that's it. It doesn't work like that. This is a card of something's been happening. It's happened numerous times, 300 times, but at least 3 times. It's not just a one-off where somebody is going, there's a history of this, I'm done. I don't want this anymore. It's heartbreaking, but there you go. Okay, so I'm going to say, I'm sorry about ending on Three of Swords, because it's a funny card, isn't it? But do you remember what I said? Although it can be, looking at a card like that feels a bit heavy. It's a card of the past. It's not a card of the future. Even if it's in a future position, means in the future, the influences of the past in their thinking may have an impact upon how they navigate forwards. So I would say to you, thank you so much for joining me today for our half hour of tarot. I'd love your comments. If I know I've not got them live today, sorry about that. I will try and fix how we can get that sorted. Please leave your comments in the box below. Let me know perhaps when is a good time or a better time. We're going to be sticking with this until I get through all of the cards. But if you are looking to do intermediate and learn how to work with pairs, I must say there will be no point me doing that on my own and not talking to any of you, because it just won't work. We need to interact. So can we start thinking about that, because we are starting to get through these now. I've covered the major cards. If you've missed anything, go back and look at the video. There are recordings there. You can watch it any time. And if you watch it through Facebook, I'm sorry about my mossy bite on my lip, on my upper lip. If you watch it on Facebook, if you click on the big screen, and I think you click on the 3 dots, you can actually download it. So do have a look at that. Please do join my Facebook group Talk About Tarot page, because that's where you'll find a buddy, and have a go at what you see and what you feel and what you think of the cards. Using your intuition is a major part of this, but having some foundations, and I do both, of course. I've been doing this a long time, but I did it every day. I did some every day, and I recorded myself. I'd write things down, so I'd record it in the written form, and I would practice on people whether they wanted a reading or not. Can I do a mini reading for you? Let me put a couple of cards, that kind of thing. And I tell you, when you really read for somebody that wants to read, it's a totally different experience to forcing upon somebody where you want to practice and they're going, oh, gosh, you know, okay, no, that's not me. No, no, no. And you're thinking, oh, I'm getting this all wrong. It's marvellous when you actually get somebody who really does want you reading and they go, you're spot on. So it's all to do with that as well. And that was a big surprise to me. People that actually wanted a reading were very, very connected because it's a fair exchange. So practice wherever you can. Use, record yourself. As in, there's all these apps now that are available for you to actually listen to yourself back. I used to just read out the key notes that are on here, record them, speak them in I had a little, tiny little recorder, mini recorder, and that's how I used to go off to sleep just listening, playing it back loop by loop. Wasn't all this lovely mobile phones where you can use certain apps that you can now. And I'd record it and go over and over and over it. So it was going in, I fall asleep listening to it, and it goes in. And then I'd kind of go, right, I'm picking a card for myself today. Crikey, no idea what that means. No, I don't think that's me. And then I'd kind of go back at the end of the day and go, well, what happened? And how does that card actually relate to what happened today? Even though I wasn't able to kind of put it together at the time as a student of tarot. So there's lots of things you can do. And if you talk to each other and you talk to me and we have a little chat, we can go forwards. But as I said, there is absolutely no point doing intermediate because working with pairs, I can only show you and no interaction. It's not really helpful. So please do let me know if you want to go into intermediate. Let me know if you're interested in going on to advanced. We'll do it step by step. Till next week, thank you so much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed today. And the PDFs will be up on Facebook for downloading tomorrow, not today. It's just for this week, just due to circumstances that are technical beyond my control today. So sorry about that, but you will have them tomorrow. Okay, everybody, thank you very much. See you later. And do remember, I'm jumping on for mini readings on YouTube where you can follow me live. I will be popping up here and there. So who knows when, but it will be one day this week. So thank you so much. Until then, see you later. Bye-bye.